and gentlemen, Mr. Green, Women's Pro Wrestling Network, and it is my pleasure now to introduce a new young lady on the scene. You might have seen her in a couple of matches on her own YouTube channel. Be sure to go and check that out. Information will be here below. And we're going to talk to her about some of her endeavors thus far, what she's going to be doing coming up in the near future, and some of the confrontations that she's had with some of the faces that you do recognize around the greater independent wrestling circus. Names like Tracy Taylor, names like Mrs. Royale, names like the mean girl Danny Jordan. So right now I want to bring in Gemma Jewels, please.
Hi.
Thank you for
having me.
Thank you for joining me today. And well, the first thing I want to say is it's going to be very difficult for me to bring this up and not address win-loss records.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the record has been somewhat off kilter so far, but I mean you've maintained a positive attitude. You've kept your head up as far as these matches are concerned. But tell me, what were you thinking? Let's start with Shalance. Am I pronouncing her name right? I certainly don't want her to hurt me or sing in my ears or anything like that.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's start with that. Somebody that has taken some shortcuts, so to speak.
Shortcuts is probably a nice way to put it. However, I guess, are you asking me how my match was with her, my confrontation, or working with her?
Well, your confrontation with her, certainly. I mean, I know that there is some familiarity with the young lady, but as the match went on, she might have gotten a little bit more aggressive, shall we say.
Right.
So how do you, when you're trying first off, what match was that? Match 1 or 2? Or I mean, it was match number 1. So when you're getting into the business, when you're starting off as a professional wrestler and you're trying to do what you've been trained to do, get in the ring, be competitive, win in a fair exchange of holds, and she kind of pushes that a little bit to the side, how do you respond internally to that?
Well, like you mentioned, I did, it being my first match, I wanted to do it the best way that I could as far as like old school style with holds and it being competitive. But working with somebody like Shalance Royale, it's a little bit more difficult because she is somebody that likes to take the shortcuts, as you said. And, I really just think all in all, maybe her voice really did have an impact on my way of thinking and how I proceeded in that match for sure. So she definitely has some pipes on her, and I don't know. Let's just say, I mean, that she sounds okay. I mean, she's got a voice for whatever reason, but for the most part, her singing threw me off. I felt like I really had her there going the beginning, and just it was just when we got to the very end, and I hooked her for my studded slam, which is my finishing move, and yeah, I don't know what happened. The singing just completely threw me off and just really gave me an instant headache, and I just panicked, and I had no choice but to just drop her.
Well, unfortunately, that singing, as you said, she's a young lady with some very powerful pipes. I, as an unbiased witness to that, I can't quote one way or the other whether she's good or bad. We want to leave that as is. However, that might have been distracting for you. She might not have been an opponent that you were really looking forward to, but we'll move on to someone else that you probably do have respect for, that being the mean girl, who actually probably wasn't all that mean that day.
No.
But she might not like hearing that because I know she lives and dies by that in her burn book. But Danny Jordan, the mean girl, you had an opportunity to get in with her, and as it seemed to be a very respectful match between the two of you. A nice back and forth. A vast difference between your previous match with Royale, with Jordan. There was a certain amount of respect. How did you feel internally when you were wrestling against Miss Jordan?
Well, the mean girl Danny Jordan is pretty well known at this point. And I don't know, maybe she's kind of starting to turn, a new leaf. But after I heard that I was going to be working with her at first, I'm just like, oh man, what am I in for this time? She's got the burn book, and I'm just, I'm waiting for all the ridicule that's going to come my way from her, and how she gets in your head that way sometimes, and how she is about her opponents. And I really wasn't, looking forward to it. I was a little bit nervous on that one, and just thought, when can I get somebody that's real, just a real athlete, and just a real, well, not athlete, but just a real competitor, I guess you could say, a fair competitor. And but being in the ring with Danny that day it was a lot different, and maybe she just kind of helped me out with it only being my third match in front of people. Maybe she was just kind of trying to shine me up a little bit, and really kind of show what she can do and what I can do. And it definitely was an even exchange of talents, of holds, of just kind of a lot of back and forth, but it was equal for the most part. And I really enjoyed actually being in the ring with her, and I look forward to doing that, again, hopefully in the future. So we'll see what that brings, but maybe she's turning over some kind of a new leaf, or at least she did that day for me. So don't know why, but I definitely appreciate it. But that's not the, I still do want to see the real mean girl eventually, because I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't fight the best of the best, and they bring everything they got. So I definitely want to face Danny Jordan as the true, real mean girl.
Well, I'm not sure if you really want to face the true mean girl or not. I mean, that could be an entirely different personality that she's had. I've seen her transition out of training, and she probably doesn't want this even brought up, but I've seen her transition out of training. She became a beach bum, and then she just became mean. And I guess she is the wrestling incarnation of Regina George from the movie. And
what's funny about that is that I've always called myself, long before wrestling, Regina George. I just, in the way that I can be sometimes, in the way that I am with people, here and there, not in a directly evil, mean way, but just kind of not taking crap from anybody. So, real life Regina George versus her character Regina George. I don't know. That could be interesting for sure. I think I'd like to see that.
That could be very interesting. Or perhaps the wrestling's Regina George, and I don't even know, there was a Mean Girls 2 that took place, went direct to video, so
right.
And nobody
probably wasn't any good.
I'm sure it wasn't any good. And I would only bring that up to say this. Well, the lead mean girl was Regina George in the real movie. Who knows what the other one was in the direct-to-video. So that could determine who positions as what.
The generic Regina George.
There you go, the generic versus the real deal.
Right.
So, but again, she was very kind to you, and I will make a plug for that match. You have that on your YouTube channel available to be seen. So fans, if they get the chance to look at it, they can leave comments and see whether they feel that you were this close, whether if time was on your side, if there was just another move, another 3 seconds, that you could have gotten it.
She was quick.
Very quick. And no shame in that loss. No shame. There's a lot of experience there. So, I mean, you're just coming out. It was match 3, and the fact that you hung in there the way that you did should stand for a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I wouldn't say that it was fair and square, but I think at that time, she took advantage of a moment. That's that mean girl coming out. And, she did get the win, but that's not always how it's going to go down.
Well, they say that in the wrestling business, you play to win. Sometimes some people play a little bit more aggressive than others. And like I said, she is a young lady at this point who does have a certain amount of experience, both independently and in some regards on a larger scale. And speaking of experience, we have to move over to the Island Girl, Tracy Taylor, who I've had the opportunity, much like Jordan, to showcase on this very channel earlier. I had her in the tag team match. Quick plug for that. She and Pandora, the now retired Pandora, who won the titles at the time. But you had the opportunity to step in with a general and bona fide legend in this area with the Island Girl. And that match was clearly more exchange of holds, not a lot of aggression going on there. It was just one move, counter move after the other. And she managed to get a quick, it was that fast, a quick roll up out of the corner, right onto your shoulders, 1, 2, 3, and that was it. Tell me, I'm assuming that you at least got the chance to address her either before or after the match. How did that exchange go, if at all?
Well, as far as the exchange with her, Tracy is good. I'll obviously give credit where credit's due. She's great, and she's earned her stripes in this business, I mean, beyond measures. And she's still doing a great job where she is today. I did, hear from some fans that they wanted more aggression and they wanted more action, but you also are getting that competitivity, is that a word? Or
Competitiveness. We will go with that, competitiveness.
Competitiveness. So it really did showcase, I mean, it basically proved, and also helped prove that all matches don't have to be a constant 100 miles an hour where it's just this and just it's the running and the flips and the dips and all that. It kind of helps set that precedent that old school or amateur style is still around and still popular, and it can absolutely be done between two women. So she definitely said good match afterward and thanked me for it, and I do appreciate that. So I look forward to hopefully being able to work with her in the future, and maybe more so after I gain some more real experience on working shows. And then I think that maybe we could have a different style match, and I think that would also be something that people would want to see.
Well, certainly the catch as catch can style that the two of you displayed during that match. I don't want to get the promotion incorrectly. Was that Coastal
Empire Wrestling out of Savannah? And we were the first women's match for that promotion. So I was very honored to be able to do that, and especially with Tracy.
All right, so Coastal Empire Wrestling out of Savannah, Georgia. And you two made history, becoming the first pair of women to step foot in their ring and have a competitive match. So you came out a winner either way that went, and that you are now regarded in their history books from now to however long that promotion exists. And even though the experience of being in the ring with Tracy ended with a pinfall against you, all due respect, you can say that it could have been a great learning experience, being in the ring with Tracy Taylor, being in the ring with Danny Jordan, and even to some degree, even though she was a lot more aggressive than the other two, Shalance Royale.
Right.
So this stacking of experience as you go along in your career, I'm sure will turn around into your favor in short order. So if there's anything that you would like to leave the viewers of the Women's Pro Wrestling Network right now as far as your future is concerned, the upcoming matches that you intend on having, and your career just in general, is there anything that you'd like to share just before we close this out?
Well, absolutely. I know, it may have seemed kind of like I got a slow start, which I did. And, I mean, every loss is an opportunity to learn something. Every match really is an opportunity to learn something. I mean, with Shalance, you learn to watch your back. And you learn that not everybody is going to be nice and help you out there. And with Tracy, you just learn you learn a lot about experience and, what this industry is really about and what wrestling was and hopefully still is about. And then with Danny, it's just she kept me on my toes, and that was very important to me too. I like people that keep me on my toes. So While also we have been filming a lot of our Nightmare Factory school shows, which we will be welcoming. We have kind of welcomed fans back to them. So we will be starting to post about them very soon. I do get a lot of views on my YouTube channel. I really was just posting my matches there, so I was able to send it to my opponent, or as far as training matches, sending to my opponent, just so we can see and critique ourselves, and that's how you get better. But they took off, and the views have just been, I think my first debut match is past 5,000, which I really did not expect. So I really thank everybody for that. I'm doing my best to get out there to build my character and to create a name for myself. So I would love for you guys to come along on that journey with me. If you just search Gemma Jewels on YouTube, you'll find my channel, and would love for you guys to subscribe. And then I also am on Instagram and Twitter under my real name, Zoe, ZOE_W101, but also as Gemma Jewels. So that's what, those accounts are about. And I really appreciate the following and the support that everybody continuously gives, and I only hope to just get better. That's all I'm trying to do, and give the people another great wrestler, another great female wrestler to believe in and to follow.
Well, that's fair enough. Ms. Jewels, we certainly thank you for taking the time out to join us on this channel, the Women's Pro Wrestling Network, and certainly hope that we are able to showcase your talents in a match here sometime in the very, very near future.
Love that. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.